The first speaker to ask for the floor is Mr. Agnew. You have the floor. Mr. Agnew, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm quite pleased I am the first speaker because you probably know what I'm going to say, that forestry is not an EU competence. And yet to listen to these presentations, and any members of the public sitting in here would just assume that the EU had the same level of competence in forestry as they do in agriculture and other things. But it doesn't. And for those MEPs in here who are supposed to be representing the people in their member states, you are complicit in a Commission power grab. You have really no right to be discussing this. And if this carries on, it's going to create a precedent. Because if the Commission can interfere in this, why can't they interfere in personal income tax? Why can't they interfere in the educational curriculum in schools? Why can't they interfere in the way that national health schemes are run? There is no excuse for this at all, and pretending that it's going to improve the world's weather just isn't good enough. And so my specific question is, if member states do fall out of line and they ignore the Commission, are they going to be referred to the European Court of Justice? Thank you.
Thank you. Well, all of us know that. But when it comes to coordination activities, joint work, that is all necessary for the common good.
I do think today we've got to go further. At the European level, even if this is a state competence, and unlike Mr. Agnew, I think Europe does need to get involved in this because it is an extremely important issue for the future of our forests. The question is, how today can the EU, either by LULUCF, the CAP, or the European funds, as Eric Andrew just mentioned, how can Europe intervene in these issues? Thank you.
It was a question that was asked before by one of your honourable members. Why do we need all of this? We have in European policies, we have around about 400 policy instruments that deal with forestry in a direct or indirect way. And if we do not set a legal reference against that, I don't think we can formulate goals, or we can also work with the forest strategy if we don't have that this reference. And it has to be on a pan-European level, because it also needs to be regulated on the membership basis. The principle of subsidiarity, we can handle that, and we can put this into a legal binding agreement on a pan-European basis. We cannot do this on a European basis. And I think this is where a big difference and an important difference lies between those two instruments.